All right. Got to wait for all the YouTube ads to go, the most annoying things in the world. And so now that you've clicked skip the ads, welcome back to Team GU's live stream. This is the second week in a row we've done this. Joining me as always are my friends, Matt Hackett, Adam Tatro, and you guys know who I am too. And so if you're watching this either on YouTube or Twitter, let us know what you think about it. Always want to make sure that you guys can get involved in the chat as well. If you want to submit a question in the comment box, regardless of either format, feel free to do so. The way that this works, folks, is pretty easy. And guys, you know how this goes. We got some questions that we're going to bring up on the screen. We're going to probably debate, maybe agree. I think last week we had a lot of agreement on a lot of things. But the difference is I've not shown you the questions. And so we're going to see how things go tonight. So you guys ready?
Yep. Bring it.
All right. All right. So I've got 8 questions in total. And folks, if you have any questions that you want us to ask as well, feel free not only to chime in with your answers to these questions, but also ask both Matt, Adam, or me anything that you want to know. So the first question coming up here is best golf shot you've ever hit. And yes, I know that I've forgotten the apostrophe in you've. So think back, best golf shot you've ever hit. And whoever wants to start, feel free. I've got mine. So I'll start off real quick while you guys think. I was so in the junior tournament in the Joliet Park District. Adam, I think you know this one. It was at Inwood. That was when they still played in the old routing. So 1 now was 10 then, or whatever it was. I was on then hole 11, the island green.
Yeah.
Hit my tee shot. It's a short par 4, island green. Hit my tee shot.
Yeah.
Right. Hit my tee shot into the right bunker in the fairway, like right there by that hill. Hit I believe it was like a 9-iron or something, pitching wedge.
Yeah, about right.
Thinned it. Went right towards the green, went right towards the flag. Get up there. Couldn't see my ball. I was sure I was in the drink.
Yeah.
My caddy at the time goes and looks at the cup, and there's a ball mark on the side of the cup. I slam dunked it.
Yeah.
for a 2. And I think that was only of about maybe 5 eagles in my lifetime. So,
nice.
And I still remember that one.
First eagle?
That was my first eagle. Yeah, I think I couldn't have been more than
15,
I don't know,
16.
15. Yeah, something like that.
All
right.
So, I mean, I don't. I'm trying to decide. Like, I've got 3 aces and a double eagle, and I have never seen any of them go in. So I've yet to celebrate from where I hit the shot. But I would say the best shot I ever hit was a 2-iron when I was a senior in high school. Matt, you'll remember this one. In sectionals, in a playoff at Balmoral Woods. There was 3 of us in a playoff. I played terrible during the day.
3 to 1. So the only one got in.
Yeah, three guys for 1 spot. I played terrible during the day. Shot 82, and so the 3 of us went into a playoff. We started on the first hole, and the first hole was a par 5. It was Kevin Fetzer. Who was the other kid? Matt.
I don't know. Maybe was it another Lockport kid?
I don't know.
Okay.
And they all kind of laid up off the tee because there's a creek that kind of ran right in front of the green, so they all laid up off the tee, and then laid up on their second shot. So I had drive, which there's not very many tees I don't hit driver on.
Right.
I hit driver anyway, and I had about 230 or 235 into like a little into a breeze, and I knew that was too short to hit a 3-wood, to try to bunt a 3-wood up there. There was out of bounds all the way up the right hand side, and so instead of trying to bunt a 3-wood, I smoked a 2-iron and landed it right on the green, and they got 2-putted and made birdie, and I went to state.
Oh, nice. What year was that? You said sophomore year?
Senior year.
99.
Senior year. Oh, wow.
99? No, that was 2000. Well, yeah, 99. Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
99.
Right.
Oh,
How far?
crazy.
What'd you hit it to? How far?
About 10 feet.
Under the circumstances.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it was
all that on the
was
line.
like the do or die shot. Like if I pull it off, I'm going to state. If I don't, I'm not.
You still got that 2-iron?
No.
Oh,
I think my folks still have the article that was in the Herald News or whatever. So that was cool.
nice. All right, Matt, your best shot.
I've got one ace. It was cool. It one hopped in from
It was
150.
cool.
It was cool. Well, I mean, it was cool because it one hopped in. But I think the best shot I've hit, it might be that scramble that I played with you, Fonzie, just us two and the other guys, the other like old couple.
Yeah.
And it was like a soggy day at, oh God, I can't remember the course, somewhere up north in like Lincolnwood. And par 5, and we had like, I think like 293 in. And I literally just swung as hard as I could with that 3-wood. And it must have hit just before the green and rolled up to a foot, like literally a foot from like 291. I was just
No, you're making fun of me.
Yeah,
right.
Give me back that 3-wood.
See, I was gonna say it's the 3-wood we talked about last time. It's that same 3-wood.
That's probably the shot that. All right, I'm never taking this out of my bag.
Yeah, it was crazy good. All right, folks, if you want to share your best shot ever in as few words as you can.
I think there was one question about does anyone else approve of that porn star mustache? And I'm going on record, do not approve.
Yeah, I know. It's pure laziness. It's not good. There's nothing good about it. Nothing good. But I'm gonna see how far.
You can't even grow anything on the face.
I get nothing here. I get this. I could do this, and then everything else is just a crapshoot, and nothing's good. Like Kyle Orton grows a better beard than I do.
Kyle Orton grows a better beard than anybody.
Yeah, thank you for addressing that. I appreciate that. And then of course we've got Jess. Yeah, what's on your?
What's up, Jess?
Oh no. So my sister's in the house now, so she doesn't approve of it either. All right, next question. Oh, I got to find my questions. All right, next question here. All right, we're going to go fashion for a little bit. White belts, yay or nay? What say you?
I actually don't mind them if as long as they kind of match the rest of the outfit. Like if it was like a black, like dark everything in white, nah. But if you're wearing like a white hat, maybe white shoes. I mean, you're supposed to match a belt with shoes in general.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, belt and shoes. So I always wear white. I'm a yay. I always wear a white belt because I always wear white shoes.
Yeah, you do. You do actually. I can't do it. I used to love white belts so much, but I think I own 2 pairs of white-ish shoes. One that you gave me, Tatro, and then I've got a pair of True Links wear that are all white, and I wore them golfing once. And why would you get white golf shoes? I mean, honestly, I just like they're terrible. And I know you've always worn them, and you take care of them.
Right.
I don't take care of them. They're terrible. Oh.
Yeah, you would need to wipe them off every time you wore them, basically.
Yeah, and I walk like an oaf, so I'm always
too much maintenance.
Fucking dragging my feet and everything. I can't deal with it. All right, so we're gonna stick with fashion for a little bit, and I just want to know, and we need why are plate collars so often? Like I need to know. Adam, would you
as you can see, they're not.
No, they are. They are
as
still.
as
awful.
Mrs. GU
will
tell you.
Now we're gonna see
the fashion sensible Mrs. GU rather than Mr. GU. She feels that they are perfectly adequate. Perfectly.
You look like a chic. Like a
no, I don't. No, I don't.
Yeah, you kind of do.
I can't pull off plate collar. A chic.
No. Yeah, that's you said a chic.
Or some sort of religious sort of
some sort of religious order of some sort. Nothing wrong with blade collars. JB Go 4 fan, he's a
All right,
very.
so then is there something wrong with mocks?
Oh yeah,
the same guy that wears them. You can't do mocks either.
I can't do mine.
You're saying if Tiger Woods could pull off sleeveless shirts.
So can Rory.
Rory's got. Well, he beefed up.
There's a white guy still though.
They both wear them.
Hmm?
I think you guys are just jealous.
Oh,
jealous because
jealousy is the best form of flattery.
If you buy me a blade collar, I'll wear it one time. And I'm
going to buy you the ugliest effing blade collar that I can find. I'm going to paint the damn thing and then give it to you, and you will have to wear it one time. I
will make this promise. The first round we play after this whole thing lifts, if you make me a blade collar, I will wear it in that round.
Oh man, you just
tie-dye.
He's gonna write it down.
Writing this down.
Well, it's on the internet now too, and so it's
got to be true.
It lives forever now too. Yeah, that's gonna be terrible. And he's gonna write that down. He's gonna make it. It's gonna be awful, and I'm gonna have to wear it. I'm perfectly okay with that. I don't think anyone's gonna give us any. Put a post-it up. Perfect. All right, we're gonna stick with the blade theme here for a little while. Okay, different take on it though. Do you prefer blade putters or mallets? And I think I could probably answer for each of you, but I know at least all of us have tried both types before. You guys know I'm a blade guy. I like a blade putter, hands down, but I recently switched to a mallet. So I think that's pretty much par for the course for us, pun intended. Hackett, where are you at with that?
I've always had a mallet, except for that Scotty Cameron Newport, or I keep saying Newport, the Santa Fe that I'm getting redone. I've just always liked the aesthetic look, like the lengthier, just for the aim mostly. Whether it be a longer line or a 2-ball. I just like the look of that, and seems like it usually performs a little better in off-center hits, but that's a question for another time.
Tatro?
I'm kind of bold. I think if I were to have a blade putter, I like it to be a little bit deeper. So I would say probably prefer more of a mallet. I don't like too narrow of a putter, I guess, is my. I don't necessarily need a mallet, but I put with the Spider now, and I would just say if I had a preference, probably mallet, but if I were putting with a blade putter, as long as it was a little bit deeper, a little bit more depth to it, I would. Just like that Kuchar arm lock putter. It's technically like a blade putter, but it's just a little bit. It's just a little thicker, a little wider, and I just don't like a very. What are you giggling about over there?
I just always, every time you call it the Kuchar, I just laugh at it.
Oh, okay.
Because it's the Bryson to me.
It is. Yeah.
Oh no!
And this is why we don't hang out.
This is what. So we social distance anyway.
This is why social distancing is no problem.
This is no problem at all. So yeah, but I agree with I don't want a blade that's so thin that it looks like the weight is off. Like for me, weight's the whole thing. Like I need it to feel a certain way, and I need it to. That's why I like the Bettinardi Innove so much, is because it's actually not that heavy of a putter. I always feel like mallet putters are always just going to be so heavy, but I know that they're not typically. But I think Hackett and I have a similar. So what's the length
preference?
Of your? Well, you what 32 inches is your putter?
Oh, length, yeah. It's
28 inches.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's a little shorter. I feel like I'm hunched over, but I feel. I keep the putter head on a better stroke and just feel like I have more control over it.
And Adam, you've always mainly had
pretty 35, yeah, pretty standard.
Yeah. See, I didn't know until I got fit for one where I needed a shorter putter. Like I would always do 34, 33. Yeah. And I think the one I've got is like 31. It's pretty low.
Is it 31?
Yeah, it's pretty low. I would have never even thought that. So, folks, if you're watching, if you haven't gotten fit yet, go get fit. That's definitely the best way you can do.
How much does a putting fit usually cost?
Depends where you go.
I think that's like one of the number one things. It's like, oh, is it going to help my game for how much it costs? Like, if people have the expectation that it's going to cost like $200, then
honestly, you should get fit to a putter more than any club in your bag.
Yeah,
it's a club that you're going to use the most. I mean,
yeah. And Michael is back. Hi, Mike. Yeah, I mean, and so I've also heard, by the way, that, you know, while I agree, Adam, you definitely want to get fit, bar none, especially with your putter. I'll also say, just to kind of piggyback off that, people who don't think they're good enough to get fit are usually the ones that should get fit the most.
I agree with that.
Probably benefit the most.
Right.
But I heard, I don't know if you guys knew this, that the only reason why putters come in standard 34, 35 length is because that's...
you can cut it down?
Well, that and the depth of golf bags, so that it would fit in a golf bag appropriate. That's that's what I've heard. I don't know if I believe it, but because I always wondered, well, why did they get to the standard of 34, 35? You know, I had no idea. That's what I was told.
I think places like, I don't even know, like PGA Superstore or stuff like that, companies should think about like sending them putters with no grips. Sending them, you know, just so people can't, you know, take me over here and use one putter and get me fit to it or whatever. Take me over here, grab one, cut it down to the right length,
put it right on there,
bend the lie, and you're done.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Definitely. Have you guys ever cut down your own putter?
Oh yeah, cut down. I've done all sorts of shit to my stuff.
Yeah. Out of necessity, usually.
Well, that's fair.
Labor costs in the late 90s were skyrocketing.
This is true. Hackett, you've never cut down?
No, but now that I'm basically redoing my basement, I'm going to have more room for like a workbench area, like cleaning it out. I am going to have like some tools. Like obviously, I re-gripped my clubs last year with you during the Masters.
That's right.
So I'll probably have little things like that. Maybe be able to cut stuff down. But the reshafting is kind of a little. I might dabble. I don't know.
You could do it. You're an engineer. You can figure it out.
I can figure it out.
Michael says that some accounts do offer grip in box. Adam, to your comment earlier.
Right.
Yeah. So definitely.
I didn't know that.
I've always thought, you know, speaking of fitting, before we get to the next question, I always felt like there was an opportunity for brands to offer some sort of package deal where you buy a new driver, buy a new set of irons, and included in that is a fitting, meaning like you actually go get from a third party a professional fitting. Because I know like PGA Superstore, you could probably get fit, not to the depth that you would need to. They could measure swing speed, they can measure ball speed, all that stuff on you know, the simulator and all that. But if you were actually to purchase, I mean, you're spending for a set of irons close to $1,000. Why not include some subsidy in there where you can actually go ahead and get fit for that too? Well,
I guess that's kind of what isn't the PXG model, like you have to get fit for you. They just don't have clubs off the shelf. I thought, I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's a couple stores. Well, I know, they got the store in Chicago.
I guess it depends on where you're at. Like if they don't have a fitter near you. But I thought that you had to, you know, get fit in order to buy their clubs or.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's the great point that everyone should get fit, even if it's, you know, length and lie and, you know, for your irons. Those are, you know, the basic things that they should be fit to your swing.
Adam, you were a pro for a long time, and did you do fittings, or did you at least help members where you worked at?
I did, you know, length and lie stuff, just as far as like, you know, somebody came to me and they were 6'4", and they're like, I need to try to figure out what my lie is. We had a board, you know, just the old fashioned way, really. Had a board of, you know, put the tape on the bottom, kind of figure out. Yeah, put the tape on the bottom, put the tape on the club face, figure out you know, if it's hitting toe first or hitting heel first, and where the ball's coming off the club face, and just, I'd make recommendations. I usually make it. I never got into the real technical stuff, no. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, the lie boards I remember those always having
Just that little blackboard,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. Hackett's he's got like
Number
a margarita blender going on there. That's actually a good point. Before we get to the next question, I think I have to do a quick little refill here. I'm gonna drink it neat because I don't feel like getting up and getting ice. So
I'm gonna show this to the camera. Anybody out there that likes bourbon, likes a very good bourbon that's not supposed to be expensive, but can be.
Very.
This is the same bourbon that goes on to become Pappy Van Winkle.
Now you're just showing off.
No, it's a great bourbon. It's
delicious.
Very, very good. Very good. All right. We are all reloaded.
Yeah, this quarantine better end pretty soon, so that bottle doesn't dry up that you promised us a glass.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to buy another one.
Well, we'll get it figured out. All right. So speaking of putting,
if I can find it.
I know that I know it's hard to find. Speaking of putting, I know that we're all we're pretty liberal with the gimmies that we give one another. Yeah. But what would you say is the appropriate gimmie length? And I know that this is a pretty controversial topic, depending on.
I think that I would say the length of your putter, but I think that's why Tatro was using the Bryson. So hit like 3.5 feet instead of the 2.5 feet, maybe.
Counterpoint. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I'd have to say.
It kind of depends on.
You're just jealous because yours is 28 inches long, which is about the appropriate. Which is about the appropriate gimmie length. I would say 2 feet. I would say 2 feet or just over.
We're pretty liberal. It depends on if we're playing a game. If people
depends on what the
pressing, right. So if it's worth a couple bucks, then you're putting that out, even if it's maybe 2 feet. I think
depends on what you're playing for. I mean, if you're out of the hole, 12 inches. Or say 12 feet.
That's 12 feet.
Yeah, that's the circle of trust. Michael has a very circle of trust is good. Now you guys tend to get lockjaw a little bit about hole 15.
That's because you tend to miss putts about then.
Because I'm drinking this shit is why.
Also depends on how much beers how many beers everyone's been drinking.
I don't miss. It's definitely circumstantial.
Yeah. I would say
anywhere between the 2 to 3 foot range.
Yeah, I'll go 2 to 4. I'll go 2 to 4. Definitely circumstantial.
Yeah.
If you got a 4-footer that doesn't really matter in the game or whatever.
4-footer for double,
get it out of here.
Better believe I'm picking that up.
Yeah, absolutely. I like to do the rake. Just you miss. All right, this is probably pretty good. Oh, you didn't give it?
Who was that? Sergio and Kuchar?
Yeah.
Match play?
Sure. Yep. Well, that happened in the NCAAs too, didn't it? To some degree. I forget which year, but it may have been on the women's side.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Like they did. I didn't give that to you.
And it was something like I didn't say it was good, but I was going to say it was good, but they still didn't count it or something. Or maybe that's what was with Sergio and Kuchar. I can't remember.
And now that we're such great golf fans that we can't remember what this was, but I think it was. Now that I think about it, it was definitely there was one that happened in the women's side, and I wonder now if it was at the Solheim Cup. It's escaping.
Oh, it sounds match play. Sounds right.
Yeah. All right. So I think we kind of agree with that. All right. So going now towards learning the game, all the tips that golfers get throughout the course of their careers. I know I still watch YouTube and I get a lot of tips there too, but what's the worst golf swing tip ever? Not only that what you've gotten, but just in general. What's the worst thing that you've ever heard? And Adam, you've taught quite a few awful golf swings. Not awful after you've taught them, but you've tried to fix many awful golf swings.
Right.
What would you say is the worst golf tip ever?
I got to think about that.
That's tough.
That is tough. Like, worst? Are you trying to say worst one that I've heard that someone else has told them? Or
sure,
probably.
Because I would say, because like as an example, I would say like keep your head down. is just a terrible golf swing tip.
Right.
You can get hurt. You're completely just, if
Right.
people are going to exaggerate it, you don't want to give that tip. But that's one that's commonly given.
If I could, that is, that's obviously one that's commonly given. If I could, if I had to, trying to think, I guess just go get a lesson is the best thing I can say. Is don't, when my girlfriend now, she just started playing golf a couple of years ago. It's actually where we met, and I went out to Inwood to mess around. Oh, look at me. to mess around, play with Brian, play with Legan, go drink beer on a Thursday night, and we ended up meeting her. But so it was last year, and we had gone to the driving range, and there's a guy had his, and I hope he's not a fan of your show or whatever he's listening. He's gonna be like, oh my god, I'm that guy. But he had his girlfriend out there, okay, and so she wanted lessons from me, just so she wanted to learn more and more. And easy now, I'm gonna tell her you're doing this shit. So
we'll bring her in.
Right. So this guy is telling her, like, honest to God, he put a towel down. Okay, so he put a towel down behind the golf ball, about 2 inches behind the golf ball, and he is telling her 100, to do 100 different things. And I pulled Steph aside and I said, listen, I said, one thing you have to make sure you do today is listen to the 2 or maybe 3 things that I'm going to tell you, and not listen to a word that guy is saying. Because if you let one word that this guy is saying get in your head, you're gonna suck. I go, honestly, I think he might even be doing it on purpose, because he's telling her shit and he's doing shit that eventually she's not going to get any better. She's going to quit the game. And then maybe that's what he wants. Maybe he wanted her to quit the game. I said, but honestly, God, if you listen to one thing that he's saying, I said, you are, I go, you'll be miserable. So I would say when he put the towel down behind the golf ball and said, don't hit the towel, that was really one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. And I'm looking at the comments, keeping left arm straight. That's pretty bad too. Like it's just,
it depends on that one though.
It does. Straight-ish is better to say it. And I think what I would say is just go get a lesson, because a PGA professional, pay the $40-$50 or whatever it's going to be for half hour time, and go get a lesson. You don't have to take 5 lessons in 5 days or whatever. Go take a lesson. A PGA professional is going to know to give you 2 tips or 3 tips or 2 or 3 things to work on that can work together. And that was our biggest thing. I said, listen, and really a PGA Tour professional won't let you take over the lesson. I had guys that love to try to take over the lesson, and I just kind of said, listen, we had to keep reverting back to, we are going to talk about 2 or 3 things. If I try to fill your head with 8 things right now, you're not going to be able to draw the club back. So go just, pay the money to go get a lesson from a PGA Tour professional, somebody that, like I said, knows how to conduct a lesson, knows what to talk about, where to start, and isn't going to fill your head with 10 different things, and then go from there. Because, like I said, if you listen to your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, if you listen to your boyfriend, husband, or somebody anybody, or a buddy trying to teach you to play golf, so, telling you to do things, they're just going to tell you a bunch of garbage, because they don't necessarily know what they're talking about. Just because they can go out and shoot 85 or 90 doesn't mean they can teach somebody that shoots 100. So just go get a lesson, and like I said, that's the best that I can do. Is I've heard some doozies, but I can't really come up with all of them. I think the towel behind the golf ball.
I'll kind of piggyback on is definitely, you touched on it. Don't overwhelm yourself with 5 swing thoughts at the same time. Like, just concentrate on 1 to 2, and then do that repetitively, so you kind of get that feel, and it over time kind of gets ingrained into your swing of like, okay, I gotta keep my right foot down at impact, or get a full shoulder turn. I mean, there's 1,000 different swing thoughts, but don't overwhelm yourself with 4 or 5, because then you're just going to get in your own head, and then you can't work on 5 things at one time. Like, work on one thing at one time.
Work on
do a drill that keeps your right foot down, and then do that, 100 times. But then, move on to something else, because then once the right foot's down, it's like, okay, then you could progress into, other parts of the swing.
To that point as well, if you do decide to, once this is all over, you do decide to go get a lesson. Like I said, don't take 5 lessons in 5 days. Take a lesson and give yourself time to work on the 2 or 3 things that the person's going to tell you. Because I would tell people that, I said, listen, don't come back, because we actually usually sold lessons in packages, like pay for 4 and get 5.
Right.
And the 5th one, we'd take them out and it'd be like course management, stuff like that. And but I would say, listen, don't call me in a couple of days and say you want another lesson. I would say, give yourself time to do this a few times. Give yourself time to practice what we just talked about, because if you don't, you're going to come back, you're going to call me, you're going to come back here 4 days from now, you haven't done anything, and we're going to talk about the same shit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's the same thing.
And if you do take lessons, take notes on what you worked on.
Absolutely. I'd tell every lesson I gave, I had them grab the scorecard off the golf cart and write it down.
That's pretty good. No, yeah, I think a lot of people, brick and mortar stores that you can go to and get lessons, like the Golf Techs of the world and wherever else, you could probably, they do the same thing. They give you a printout of all the things they just talked about. Here's, in some instances, they may shoot video and give you the video. And so I think it's really just goes back to what you were saying, Adam, where people that they need to write down so that they can remember. I mean, people think that they can remember this stuff when they go. I've thought it. I thought that I could. You've given me lessons. Yeah, I'm gonna remember everything you tell me. I've known you my whole life.
Right.
I forget it.
I go out and work on my own game and find little things. I mean, I'm like a 3 or 4 handicap, and I find a few little things.
He tried to slip that in.
I find a few things that I'm working on, and hey, you're gonna make
plus
but
one at least.
I find a couple of things that I'm working on, and I write it down. I mean, I'm gonna, and that's me teaching myself. Wait, okay there?
I'm just dying.
I'll even say if I play in probably a couple of amateur tournaments a year, and I'll have like maybe 1 or 2 swing thoughts, and I'll like write that on the scorecard or whatever, like just full shoulder turn. Like if I know my number one, like mistake that I typically, kind of lean toward, it's like, all right, it's just kind of a reminder, like 1 full shoulder turn, like stuff like that. Cause then, it just kind of writes the whole thing. So it's just keep it simple.
Yeah. 2 pretty good golfers there, folks, giving you some tips, even though the one guy says he's a 3 handicap and he's full of shit. Ish. All right. So where are we at now?
You know what we should do? We should keep each other's handicap. And I post all of Tatro's scores. Tatro posts all of Fonzie's scores, and Fonzie posts my score.
We had that live stream last night with Canal Shores, and they were giving me hell about the 65 I shot. That's 65.
Yeah, see?
I'm like, okay, yeah. Well, I did, but whatever. All right, 2 more questions. I'm still dying from that comment and from the bourbon drink. Did Patrick Reed cheat? So we're talking about the Hero World Challenge. Not too long ago, brushed aside the sand.
Yes.
Okay. Hackett's like,
he improved his lie. He made the shot easier by the time he hit it than when the time he walked up.
Fair enough. Adam?
Yeah. I think he did. Didn't he do it twice?
Well, he did. Well, yeah, he like brushed it off like 2 or 3 times during the practice.
He thought he put the club behind the ball a couple of times and ended up removing a little bit of sand from them.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that's not the first time he's done it either. There's videos on YouTube and everything, and I know that this is news from a few weeks ago for those who are watching, but yeah, I still think it's crazy that people think that he didn't cheat, and he was just using the rules to his favor. Well, as I understand it, and you guys keep me honest here, the rule right now in the bunker, if it's designated as a bunker, you can practice now in the bunker. You can actually hit sand in the bunker. What he did was different, though, where you he, as you said, Matt, brushed sand away from
Is
the
that
ball.
right? You could take a practice swing and take sand out?
I believe it is.
I didn't know that.
I could be
thought-
wrong, but let me
I
know.
thought you could ground your club.
That might be what I'm thinking about. You can actually ground your club.
You can ground your club now, I believe. But
What is that defined as, though?
you can ground your club behind the ball.
Here we go.
Chris is in the house. What's up, Chris? Whether he meant to move the sand, or we don't know. Whether he did and deserved. Okay. So
I am not a professional golfer, and I know if I move any sand, and the amount of sand that he moved, that was deliberate. I mean, it wasn't an accident, especially the fact that he did it twice. I mean, he knows what he's doing. True. For him to deny it's laughable. I mean,
well, what's even more laughable is the fact that, and we got Duffer's review saying that you can swing in the sand trap, just can't hit the sand. Okay, and that's fine. I may be wrong about it,
but I also believe
so is
that
it
you can now
like
ground your
incidental
club
grounding?
behind.
you can or can't.
You can ground your club behind the golf ball, I believe now. But he basically grounded it and then moved it back and then stepped off the shot or whatever. So, but if I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I believe now, basically, remember DJ in the PGA Championship or whatever at Whistling Straits, where, like Chris just said, he improved his lie. There's no doubt about that. So, but you can set up behind the ball, and instead of having to hover that club over, behind the ball, you can now ground it. But once you go back, you got to make a pass at it.
You got to be committed. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and
that makes sense.
That's
I remember the waist bunker that was DJ.
Right.
That
he
cost
grounded
him
his club. Yeah, it cost him tournament. He
was it the
grounded
PGA
his club.
or U.S. Open?
PGA.
That was it.
PGA.
Yeah.
And so, no, that makes sense. And so you have to actually be committed to it. It's all about the intent, right?
Right.
And,
But that's the thing. That intent thing. Oh, I didn't intend this, or I mean, it's like when Zach Johnson whiffed on that tee shot at Augusta on 13. I thought that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
and
it's really
and he did it, and then he didn't even know. He's like, "What happens?" And everyone was like, "Intent." It's like, yeah, of course he didn't intend to hit that shot off the tee.
Well, that's totally different. It's like knocking your ball off at a dress.
Right, but the whole intent thing, like, oh, I didn't intend to move sand,
right?
That's the murky thing. Like, what it's just a person's word against everybody else.
Right.
Well, that's like when Kevin Na, remember he had his hitch, his whatever. He couldn't hit the ball. He couldn't pull the trigger, and he would line up behind the ball. He would take a swing and then back off and then swing over the ball real quick. So he would be making a golf swing, but he was, he got over it, obviously. But the whole thing with intent came in again there. And people were saying, you should be penalized. He was making a move at the ball. Well, I don't know. Yeah, it was elite for that Pro Tracer on Zach Johnson's whiff. Yeah, that was good. But, so, all right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think he definitely cheated. I think what's really laughable about it, to go back to Chris's comment earlier about it being laughable, is the fact that the PGA Tour continues to defend it. Like they haven't done anything to this guy, and I don't know what I expect them to do, to be completely honest with you. But
kind of the stance that they should take was, okay, going forward, this is how we're going to enforce it. Not, okay, well, this is why we thought this in the past. Like he said this and that. Is like going forward, this is how we're going to enforce it for everybody. And they don't make hard stances like that. That's what, is kind of frustrating.
I guess they never do, to be honest with you. But it's just insane. And obviously, all things considered now with what's going on, not a big deal. But, to kind of think about how golf was before the shit hit the fan, I mean, that's what people were talking about.
But I will say that it's probably going to draw a lot more eyes, not just with, well, especially with Patrick Reed, but just everyone in general is just kind of going to be, I think, more aware that stuff like this has gone on in the past. And if it's that blatant, not to get away with it in the future.
Yeah. Fair point. All right. I got the last question here, and we could talk about whatever you guys else, what else you want to talk about. So, bringing it back, I know we want to be a distraction what's going on in the world, but let's just put our small business hats on here for a second. and you're the owner of your business, if you created your own golf company right now, an upstart, what would you focus on selling right now, knowing that people would buy a lot of it? Right now, today, you started your own business. What would you sell right now?
See, that's the question you should have gave us before so we could put some thought into.
No, I wanted to make sure you got bourbon in here first, and then we could talk through this.
What was the question? If we started our golf business right now, what would we sell?
Yeah.
One person golf carts.
One person golf cart?
Well, they got that, the hoverboards.
But that they're sending people out on, singles on golf carts for states that can play right now. Not a bad idea. I've heard actually pace of play because of that, by the way, is absolutely incredible right now.
Yeah.
Great?
Great. Yeah.
I can see that. I mean, that's the sense of...
You got to have 200 golf carts, though, if you're going to have 200 people play.
Right.
Well, that's the other side of it.
Golf motorbikes. I've seen those.
Yeah,
those sound fun, too.
Those are at the PGA show. They're crazy. I would 100% kill myself if I drove one of those.
Chris said, real quick, doubling back, did the PGA not tour do anything to read because it's good media or because it's good media for the tour? Yeah, I think so. They're always kind of they don't want to. It's a gentleman's game. They don't want people knowing or thinking well, that's how they tout the game.
Yeah,
but I'm thinking from a PGA perspective, not when us three get on the golf team.
Sure as hell ain't that.
But yeah, I mean, they're always thinking about brand. They're always they want to make sure that they have this pristine reputation, and having a quote unquote known cheater on the on tour, it's bad for business. But it's not necessarily because it's one person. It's not like everyone's cheating. Not everyone's doing this, but I mean, so I think they're going above and beyond to defend their players to a fault, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think RJ's just trolling me right now. He knows that. I told you guys that story.
Oh yeah, you and Rom get along great, don't you?
Oh, real good. I told you guys that story that I heard from a pro that will remain nameless in Orlando about Billy Mayfair, right?
No.
You might have, but this is the perfect time to refresh your memory.
Fair enough. From a pro that will remain nameless, we were sitting down having he was having a few cocktails, and I was way hungover. And so we were talking about a few things, and he
This is a pro that I know or no?
Oh yeah. I'll tell you guys this. Yeah. And he was saying that. So Billy Mayfair has always had a rough reputation.
Putting stroke? Oh.
Well, that too.
Putting stroke as well.
Let's just say that his nickname was Billy Playfair. Okay. And so he gave me this story where there was a web tour event where
I remember that.
Hunter Mahan was actually playing with Mayfair. And Mayfair, he uses that long putter. He jams it into his chest. And which by the way, they all jam it into their chest. Let's just call it what it is. They do it. No one's going to call them out on it. No one's going to say anything.
I actually had something to. I feel differently about that rule. So go ahead, keep going.
We'll get back.
They might not jam it, but they got their forearm in there.
They do something.
But you gotta realize what the anchoring part of it is. And I'll go ahead, finish up, and I'll explain.
So he was making putts like crazy all day long. And so they get to some par 3 or whatever hole, and he makes another like 50-footer. Insane. And so Mahan then goes and picks the ball up out of the cup, and he looks at it, and he hands it over to Billy, and he goes, blue dot, huh? Billy's like, yeah. And he goes, you've been using a red dot the entire day. Turns out that the hole prior, he had hit a ball like out of bounds or whatever, and then miraculously found it. It just crazy shit like that. And so, and the whole point being is, how it relates to the Patrick Reed thing. No one's going to call him out on it because you're right, Matt. They all think of it as a gentleman's game. If somebody gets called out on it, then that's going to happen.
It's your word against everybody else's.
Absolutely. So it's just a crazy thing. All right. So anchoring. Your take on anchoring.
All right. So does Adam Scott? Here's my question. Do you think Adam Scott is anchored and he shouldn't be allowed to use that putter?
Just period. Like shouldn't.
Yeah. I mean, just tell me. That's a healthy sip.
Yeah.
That was a finishing sip.
Good Lord.
So the rule is basically that you have to swing a golf club with both arms. Okay, that both arms have to move. Okay, the way it was before is you could anchor that putter to your chest. Okay, Chris, I disagree. I disagree. You can put that putter to your chest, but
embrace debate.
If both arms move, he has swung it with his shoulders and done that. Before, you could anchor it and just do this. Okay, now only one arm has moved.
Yeah.
So I feel that if you're holding it here, you've got your hand on that putter and you have it here. But as long as both shoulders move, you have swung that club with both arms. However you do. Okay,
interesting.
So it's just the rule because before they just go like this and go like this.
Right.
Well,
that's how it was anchored.
Because I mean, I guess you could make the argument that even the arm lock, to a degree, is anchoring. It's all about where the fulcrum is and where the pivot point is.
So if you did anchor it right into your chest,
and then
and you
swing it with one hand,
you're just rotating.
There you go.
You're not even doing anything but rotating. That's an advantage. If you anchor it to your chest plate and you just rotate your chest, I understand that what you're saying is both arms are moving, but the thing is
but I don't think he has it. I don't think he has it anchored the way it would have been before. To where before you basically had to hold that up against your chest and just swing it with your hand. And now he's holding it. And his hand can be by his chest, but now he's swinging it with both shoulders.
But it's the whole thing. If you can anchor your arm to your body,
but you haven't anchored the golf club.
That's right. An advantage, though.
And that's
you can anchor your left arm to your body on a putt if you wanted to. I mean, it doesn't matter wherever you want it.
Well,
you want to anchor here. You want to anchor here.
No one's doing that though.
Maybe we ought to try.
Well, go. You do it. Go ahead.
I'm just saying. I don't
get that handicap down finally.
The thing is, if you can anchor your forearm to your chest, that will stop this from moving.
Right,
and
but you haven't anchored the golf club.
But that's the advantage that everyone's basically saying that these golfers are doing. So whether it's your forearm or whether it's your
you can't anchor the golf club. You cannot anchor the golf club to your body, which is the same thing as a belly putter. If you anchor, that's anchoring the belly. You know, that's anchoring the club to your belly. That's the same thing here. Is that you anchor?
I don't agree with you, RJ. The forearm to the chest is no different than the arm lock. Because
I'm just saying the golf club is not anchored, and that is the rule, is that the golf club has not been anchored. You can anchor whatever the hell you want to whatever. Other than the golf club, you can anchor anything you want.
Dude, if we had this argument on the course, it would be much more
somebody be bleeding right now.
Well, here's the other thing, too, to the point.
That Bryson be wrapped around your neck a few times.
Right. To the point about it.
I'd already snapped Hackett's 3-wood.
Well, that would be.
I will stab you with the charge of the golf shaft if you.
So we've had our first death threat now on the show. So to the point about it being at an advantage, people have not seen data to suggest that there's actually an advantage at all. It's just a matter of comfort. But then the question becomes, all right, well, why would anyone ever do it?
Well, the thing is, if you are. If the tip of the golf club,
I'm with the
you go ahead and pour your drink. If the tip of the golf club isn't moving, then that's an advantage.
Just the tip.
I knew it.
The tip.
I knew it. He said
it. But if you're anchoring your forearm or your thumb, and technically the club isn't touching your body, that's the same thing.
That's probably true.
No, he doesn't suck that. He got a lot better doing the long putting than he became a lot better putter using the long putter.
Like I said, I think if you take the rule, by definition, it is anchoring the club to the body. And whether you anchor your forearm here or whatever, as long as both arms move, that is the exception to the rule. This is where I'll differ from you. Is I think
anchoring the club to your forearm that's moving, I think that's fine. But when you anchor the top and the top isn't moving, you're like,
dude, when you turn your shoulders,
either your forearm or like your thumb here is anchored. You're not moving that.
You're
moving it in general, but not in relation to your body.
That's the point, though. Your arms move. If I anchor it here and only do this, this hasn't moved.
If you have the putter anchored to your chest plate, you're still moving it.
All right, let's look at the USGA here. Thanks for the tip.
Ooh, now we're getting heated.
Michael, can you guys see this okay?
Not really. It's all right.
Let me blow it up. Yeah. All right, so this is from the USGA website. Anchoring the club, understanding 14.
Best one play ever.
All right, so permitted.
We should take this to the putting green and then just like a free-for-all. Turn into Royal Rumble.
So this is long putter, not anchored. It's away from your chest, which, let's be honest, nobody putts this way.
But that's what everyone says they putt.
But again, look at anchored long putter or whatever. That dude's got his thumb over the top of it again, and it's anchored into his chest, and he's not going to move. Dude, he's not going to move his left arm.
If you do it,
I'm just telling you what's legal. If you do it the way it is as I'm looking at it on the left,
you're saying this. Oh, his
your left arm is moving, asshole.
What you said?
I said your left arm's moving, asshole. If you did it the way on the right,
and you say that's okay.
If you did it the way on the right, no, it's not okay. It's not okay because you can then just swing it with your right hand.
To push this out. I have to like scrounge.
Okay.
You're saying
there you go. Look at your left arm moving.
You're saying this is okay.
Your left arm's moving as long as the putter.
My left arm's grounded in my goddamn chest.
No, it isn't. It's moving.
Yes, it is.
It's moving. Well, yeah, that's fine, but it's moving. The club.
So you say that's okay?
Yes, the club isn't
shit. And
no,
that
because you can. Here's what I'm talking about. What if I were to anchor it to my chest and just do
What's
this?
the difference between your thumb being anchored to your chest and the club?
Watch
Zero.
My left arm. Numbnuts.
This is exactly how these conversations usually go.
That's not how they putt, though.
Yes, it is. Now it's different. Now they hold it here and go like this. Now my left arm has moved. Now my left arm is moved. That's why it's legal, because you have swung the club moving both arms. That is the rule.
But you say that's okay.
That is okay.
Or do you agree with that rule?
This is not.
That it's okay? This is the underlying issue. Do you think it should be?
No, I don't care if somebody does this. The whole idea is to not move your arms when you putt. The whole idea is to move your shoulders. So if I do this, both arms are moving. Look at my elbows are anchored to my sides, and I do this. This is how I'm putting or whatever. I've got my elbows anchored. That's perfectly legal.
That's perfectly. And that's what USGA says too.
This is what they're saying is perfectly legal. What they're saying is not legal is anchoring it here and then only swinging it with one hand.
That's not why everyone hates Bernhard Langer. They're saying that he grounds it against his chest and does move everything. That's an advantage.
I like the idea of finding video footage on this because I think we need to figure that out too. And I haven't gotten so far as playing with video yet on StreamYard, so maybe we'll do that next time. But yeah, I think there's a lot of. We had a hat throw. Now he's pouting. I think he's pouting. He's not happy at all.
Good. Let's just say thank God he does not do that, or else I would never golf with him like forever.
Mike,
Yeah,
So
go ahead. Go
We
ahead.
need blade collar. We need.
I'm gonna first time we play golf, I'm gonna have Adam Scott's putter. I'm gonna have a blade collar on. I'm gonna have one sleeve on, and I'm gonna have KT tape on my neck.
And
Oh,
here's what I'm gonna do.
Just
And here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave my 3-wood in my car and then break every one of your goddamn clubs.
You act like you're the only one that can do that.
oh, everyone's done it. Everyone's done it.
just don't touch my 3-wood. Like everything else, whatever. I don't give a shit.
All right, we got about 5 minutes left for the rest of the hour here. We can go longer.
Thank God we didn't start with that.
No, everything would have been off the rails.
Be here till
I would have
Thursday.
been like, "Fuck the colors, God damn it! I'm done with them."
So, question that I know we were talking a little bit over, and I am not happy about bringing this up, but I'm going to do it because I'm a man of my word. We're going to shift to baseball, and we're going to talk about the best pitcher ever. So we all hold on. Let me set the stage. We all watched the first 2 episodes of the Michael Jordan documentary on ESPN.
And real quick, I'm going to interject real quick for a quick. How much would you pay right now to watch all 10 in a row? Would you pay $50?
Yeah, I'd pay the money to watch it.
Pay $100?
I pay $100.
Probably.
I would pay $100.
Yeah, I do. If it was a pay-per-view that you could. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
I'll just leave it at that.
So we watched the Michael Jordan documentary along with 6.5 million people. Those were the ratings that came out. And this transitioned into a conversation via text in our group text about the best athletes or the best ever at their sport, where I disagreed with Tom Brady, even though you guys know he's my boy, but he's not the best football player ever.
He and Gronk are Buccaneers now, huh?
I know it. They got a hell of a team right now if they all stay on that team. They got who else they got? I forget. No, the other
Mike Evans, Goodwin. OJ Howard's another tight end, but they're probably I would imagine they would trade him.
Cameron Brate.
Cameron Brate too.
About best pitcher of all time. And I will admit, I don't follow baseball stats all that closely, but I did a little research. And not much. Let's not get excited.
Did you? But I want to see where this is going.
Who do you guys feel is the best pitcher of all time? Duffer's review is telling me to land my plane. I apologize, folks. I'm a little long-winded.
We're getting a little off the rails here.
Yeah. I would say a name I will throw out there is Pedro Martinez for a lot of reasons. Not as many wins as I think I know what Tatro's going to say. I don't know who to go to first, but Adam, why don't you go ahead and just let us know who you think?
I say Greg Maddux is is arguably the greatest pitcher of all time. I mean, we could always go. Hey, that a boy, Chris.
Well, there it is.
I knew we agreed on something.
But well, here's the kind of question that we were getting around of how do you determine the greatest of all time? Do you say the greatest career? Do you say the greatest 10-year stretch? Because there's some people that have great careers that never won an MVP, that never finished. So it's tough to say the greatest career.
That's what I mean.
They have to be dominant in a period of time. And I
Chris is just stirring the pot right now.
He is stirring the pot. I'm gonna be like, God damn it, he's not angry his elbow. But I will say that Maddux had some of the best stats career wise because his longevity, because he never got hurt. And he was arguably a similar pitcher that he was at age 42 than he was at 28. It was just, maybe a little less velocity. Oh my God. These old fashions are really going down.
Maddux won 15 games for 17 straight seasons.
Right.
Oh, wow.
He's got 17 straight seasons. He won 15 games. He's got over 3,000 strikeouts with less than 1,000 walks. only pitcher. And
That's a good stat. I like the strikeout to walk ratio.
Yeah. And he won 355 games. He won 18 Gold Gloves. 18. Not joking.
Wow.
18 Gold Gloves.
No, go to baseballreference.com.
4 Cy Youngs. I mean, I know he only won one World Series, but I just say arguably. I'm not saying he's necessarily, and he's won the second most games to anybody in the live ball era to Warren Spahn.
What's a live ball? 30 and above, or 29 or something?
Right. So it's just kind of, I just kind of laugh of if you look at his career stats.
355 wins, like you were saying, 316 ERA.
In our era, here's probably the better question.
I'm not saying like Randy Johnson, it wasn't a great pitcher. Nolan Ryan wasn't a great pitcher. I get it.
Right.
But the fact that Maddox did all this and never threw over 92 miles an hour as well, or 93 miles an hour, maybe he topped out at 94. But that was on Fox playoff, and they had the guns revved up or whatever. So
Man,
I just kind of
everybody, maybe this should just end up being like a all right, no one can get here until we have about 4 drinks in us.
True. Maybe we should start at 8. We should start at 8.
Maybe we should
drinking at 6 and then start at 8.
Well, here's the thing. So we'll get back to this conversation, but we need a new name for this live stream, and I think Stir the Pot is leader in the clubhouse right now.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I agree with the Maddox. I mean, the insinuation that Maddox is at least not
in the conversation.
Here's a great question. Like who since like Bob Gibson has had like the best 2 or 3 year stretch. Like 1 year it can kind of be looked at as a fluke, but like 3 years, like Pedro and Maddox and Randy Johnson, like those guys
and Roger Clemens. I'm not saying there's not
Clemens too
incredible pitchers out there. I'm just saying as far as a career goes, if you look at the stats, and it's hard to argue that anybody was better. Like I said, could you imagine somebody now winning 15 games for 17 straight seasons?
No.
Mark Burley?
Not at all. No.
Stop it.
Just stirring that pot.
Just stop
it. Mark Burley had the best web gem from a pitcher of all time, though.
I know. Ball
and I was at the game. I was like 50 feet away. I saw it live, and I went, oh! You kind of.
How many Gold Gloves does Mark Burley have?
Like exactly what he did, and unless you like looked at replay, but I saw exactly what he did, and that was the most amazing thing I have ever seen live, ever.
Chris,
I remember that.
I love that comment because I laugh. Think about the fact that Glavine was the number 3 on that on that Atlanta Braves staff. You had Maddox Schultz
in the
Maddox Schultz inning of Glavine.
Is that the best pitching staff ever?
Yeah, I'll say that.
Yeah, because who was it? It was Steve Avery,
Maddox,
Glavine.
It was Maddox.
Dude, I could be the 5th pitcher, and they would have still been like the best ever.
Yeah, they'd have just sat you down in a.
And I don't got a change up.
As he takes a sip of his old fashioned. That's just I don't get it.
It's the changeup he doesn't have.
No. Yeah, that's the one team other than the Chicago team that I remember the most is just the Atlanta Braves, and that pitching staff was incredible.
Yeah.
Well, how many straight years did they make the playoffs when there were only like 4 teams that made the playoffs, or like maybe 6? I mean, I think there was like they won the division like 13 straight years. Like it was ridiculous. Yeah, 3 Hall of Famers on the starting staff. Like, can you imagine them in a 7-game series? 3. If you had to face all of those guys twice, and then whoever,
they should have won more than they did. But
who was their closer? Wasn't it? It was Rocker for a little.
John Rocker for a little while.
What was the famous thing that he said? Like he said, "Fuck something," or
I don't know.
It was like during the World Series, like in New York. I remember him being like riding the subway.
You have to deal with those guys. Oh, Hackett's he's buffering. He got too riled up. So you have to face those guys, and then you get to the 9th inning and you have to deal with the batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Like it just, I don't get it. I don't understand. Yeah, I think we lost Hackett.
He'll be back.
He's buffering.
His computer died.
I died. Hackett's lost in the Netherlands. Whatever.
Well, you can stay. I want to see him come back.
Yeah, he will. I'll see him when he gets back into his green room here. Matt, if you can hear us, you gotta log back in. He died. I died. I bet his phone died. I bet he was.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
Oh no. You better plug in. At any rate, so we covered a lot of ground.
We did.
You know,
stir the pot is the perfect name. I think that's got to be the front runner.
Okay. If you guys think there's any better names, that's the leader in the clubhouse right now. Stir the pot. We'll do that. Rookie move.
Hackett and Tatro. Uh-oh.
And he rises from the dead. I don't even know what like goddamn earplugs here. Just call me Jeebus Hackett.
Well, I can do that.
I don't know what happened. I thought my battery died, but it just said.
Well, yeah, because we get this. I died.
The truth will set you free. I don't know.
And the rookie is back. Oh no! All right, so we covered a lot of ground. We've been over an hour. Time flies, folks. This is how these conversations typically go. So you're seeing live how these debates go.
Saturday morning golf, just on videotape.
Yeah, about the same amount of bourbon, but it's just the way it goes. So if you guys have any questions,
less putts given though.
Yeah, a lot. So we decided what was it within 4 feet?
It's 2 to 4 circumstantial.
Front 9 and back 9.
Yeah,
that's true.
Front 9, 3.5. Yeah. Let's see if you make it the one hand stab, and then it's good.
I don't even know what he's talking about. He's had 3 old fashions in an hour and 7 minutes. So all right, stir the pot is the.
You're just mad. I'm going to be a 4 by I don't know May 31st.
This is stirring the pot.
You can't do that. You can't do that. Do not come a 4. Don't do that. Who's our 4th player that we're gonna? Are we gonna get Danny on here at one point?
We should.
Danny, Joey.
We should definitely get Joey on here.
We should host tryouts.
We don't need tryouts. I don't know. Whoever can play.
Well, that's true.
I'm talking.
We're the 3, and then
start the phone tree.
I'm talking about the live stream here. Do you want to do tryouts? Who's going to come on the live stream? We'll just bring them in one at a time. It's like, all right, let's like a panel interview.
Here's our special guest.
We can cut them, and then we can add a guy from the lobby. I mean, we could actually do pretty good job here.
There you go. All right, guys, we're gonna end this broadcast. This has been going on for way too long.
It's already been too long.
We'll be back next week. We'll talk more. Thanks for tuning in. If you got any questions, follow us on Golf Unfiltered. You know how to find our stuff. So just send us to the places and the thing. We'll get some good stuff up. Thanks, guys.